stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for a radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for a radio check. Over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. Charlie Alpha 252 radio check. Over. stations, all stations. All stations, all stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. All stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over. Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over.
Test 1, 2. All stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. All stations, over.
54, US. Loud and clear. Sierra 14, Sierra 14, over. Charlie Alpha 245, US, 33, radio check. Charlie Alpha, Alpha 265, 265, take a step forward. Station, this is Charlie Alpha 265, Charlie Alpha 265, radio check, over. Charlie 265, Sierra 265. Response Sierra 25, this is Charlie Alpha 265, without Charlie Alpha 265, uniform Sierra 25, this is 555, logging. Station, this is Charlie Alpha 265, Charlie Alpha 265. Clear, outcome.
141. This is Sierra Alpha 333. Our copy. Over.
Charlie Alpha 254, 1 Sierra 25. Charlie Alpha 254, this is Uniform Sierra 25. Uniform Sierra 25. Radio check.
Charlie Alpha 254. This is Uniform Sierra 333. How copy? Over.
Any station. This is Uniform Sierra 25 with radio check. Uniform Sierra 25 radio check. Over. Charlie Alpha 254. Uniform Sierra 33.
Charlie Alpha 254. Uniform Sierra 333. Hear you loud and clear as well. Good for now.
This is Charlie Alpha. Uniform Sierra 333. This is Uniform Sierra 25. Charlie Alpha 25 radio check. Uniform Sierra 333 radio check. Any station. This is Charlie Alpha 265. Charlie Alpha 265 radio check. Radio check. Over. This is Charlie Alpha 265, Charlie Alpha 265, this is Charlie Alpha 231, over. Charlie Alpha 254, this is Charlie Alpha 265, we already have you report.
Uniform Sierra 141, Uniform Sierra 141, Uniform Sierra 362, over. Charlie Alpha 254, Uniform Sierra 362. Good readable, over. Roger, thank you very much, out. Charlie Alpha 265, Uniform Sierra 333. Out hockey, over. US 5. Sierra 333. Radio check. I'll copy. Over.
Any station, this is Charlie Alpha 265. Charlie Alpha 265, good, take over.
Charlie Alpha 265. This is Uniform Sierra 333. Radio check. I'll copy. Over.
Charlie Alpha 254. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over.
Any station, this is Charlie Alpha 202, over. Charlie Alpha 202.
Charlie Alpha 202, here's Charlie Alpha 254, over.
Charlie Alpha 254, you are very loud and clear. How's the guys treating you there from London?
Yeah, very good. Good morning. We are in Guelph at the Amory, and life is good here. What's your, is it Charlie Alpha 202? Over.
We're in London. I thought a bunch of the London guys are going down to Guelph to hang out with you.
Okay, Roger. Charlie Alpha 202, Charlie Alpha 254. I have you loud and clear and logged. Over and out. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254, any stations, over. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Any stations, over. stations, any stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over. Any stations. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over.
Good DX in there, Mike. I know you've been doing a lot of it. 7-3.
Yeah, matter of fact, I worked a bunch of DX this morning at 4 in the morning.
Oh, God. I was so far under my covers, I wouldn't even think about working DX in the morning.
Snooze, you lose.
I know, that's the trouble, but I was snoozing. 7-3, Mike.
Yeah, take care.
And Dennis, V3XO, I bet you weren't up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, maybe if I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, John, it's probably to go for a leak or something like that, but that's about it. Morning, Mike. It's been a while since we've chatted, and yeah, it's -3 here at my place. Actually, when it comes to my weather, the airport is, well, all I got to do is look at that tower behind my place there to the north, and there's the airport, so it's not that far away. It's one of those things that the airport, yeah, their weather slightly, it varies a wee bit, but nothing serious. Actually, as the old saying goes, stick your head out and you'll find out how cold it is. And I need to wear a jacket. That's the way it is. So other than that, I finally worked on a problem with the heat kit SB401, and I couldn't believe it. I swear that I look at that thing and I look at that thing for the last couple of days, and I couldn't figure out why is it that no Vox delay, and this was weird, that was weird. Finally figured out what it was. First of all, it was the wrong resistor. For some strange reason, when I was measuring supposedly a 1 meg resistor, in the process, it was only 15K. And that's weird. What's going on here? So it turns out I had a solder bridge, and I swear that solder bridge had to have been there for 50 years when the guy put that heat kit together. He must have gone nuts trying to figure out what was the matter with that radio, but as far as I know, he was always using it on CW, so I guess it worked fine for him. He didn't really worry because you couldn't adjust the delay, the Vox delay for the CW to hold it up long enough, so it must have been long enough for him. But I'll tell you, when I saw that solder bridge and I figured out, wow, you know, it was lightning in the bottle there, John. Go.
Yeah, Roger. Well, congratulations on finding that. That's some good troubleshooting there, especially for a radio that was built that long and had that problem probably all along. I've inherited a couple of them, and it just about drives you nuts trying to find a problem like that. But you know what? It's fun. I remember listening to the Solder Smoke there, Bill Mirren, one day talking about buying radios at a Hamfest, and he was talking about how he bought a rig there that didn't work, and he said, that's an added bonus. He says, I was going to pay the guy more money because it didn't work.
Well, I paid $500 for the transmitter, the receiver, the microphone. What else? Oh yeah, the Sugar Baker 610 analyzer with a scope. And And the other thing too is I went to Mario and I ordered some tubes on Sunday, shipped them out on Monday evening, I guess, because by the time we got settled and everything else, tubes were $10 a piece, but they were almost brand new as far as I could tell. And I stuck both. I got those tubes yesterday. I couldn't believe it, you know. Like, in 48 hours, I got those tubes, and I said, "Oh, this is wonderful." So that's what started it. And I stuck the tubes in. Same problem. So I bought 2 tubes for nothing, but that's fine. You know, I'm not overly concerned about paying the $20 for a couple of tubes. But the fact is that now when you plug it in, like I tried it last night, now you can turn it on and it works perfectly. I can adjust the box delay and everything. But people that got to learn how to solder, there's been some solder messes that I fixed on that thing, but all the electrolytics are replaced. Now I'm trying to tune it up, trying to get alignment tools, so that's fun. I finally found them. There was the make. I've got some of these pieces myself. They're from GC, some company that's been around for, I don't know, at least 50 years. I bought them on eBay. I think $20 US shipped to me. They should be here by the end of next week, but they're GC 8454 or something like that. But they're the right tools that I need for tuning up coils and stuff like that. And I was really surprised. And but anyway, it needs an alignment badly because everything is changed a wee bit because with the new capacitors and everything else and that thing, it's livened up. Surprisingly enough, all the tubes seem to work fine. I got a crystal kit for it, and I put it in, and all the crystals seem to be working fine. So, but the only thing is that there's a 21 megahertz filter that's supposed to be in the radio, but when you hook it up directly with the SB303, you don't need the crystals at all. It's the only crystal in it is the CW crystal for tuning it, and that's it. And but like you say, it's a lot of fun. But once you find the problems, then away it goes. So the receiver works fine. That's the best part. And the best part of it all is that I remember building that through receiver in 1975. That's before I got my license, and it was a lousy receiver. But since then, they've made some modifications.
Charlie Alpha. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Any stations, over. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over. Any stations, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check, over. station, Charlie Alpha 254, Charlie Alpha 254 for radio check. Any station, over.
All the stuff that doesn't work. I got a couple of projects out there that I know they don't work. One of them is Zenith L600. It's a big portable radio. The thing's bigger than any rig I got in my shack here, and it's got a leather case on it, and that thing doesn't work. And I'm just itching to get in there and do a bit of troubleshooting at it. And it's got a selenium rectifier in there, so I'm going to replace that with diodes. Actually, I got a diode block I'm going to shove in there, and then we'll go from there. We'll start at the power supply and start working forward on it to see what else works. And there's one tube in there they say that's worth more money than the whole radio, so I'm hoping that thing's okay.
Right, yeah, definitely hope for that. And yeah, stellium rectifier, oh yes, I remember those. I work on quite a few things that had them in there. And sometimes people would take them out altogether, which was the better way of doing things, but a lot of them, they just put a diode in parallel with it. And of course, then it does nothing, but you still have this great big thing in the way. Anyway, so for sure. I don't mind working on the older stuff. I'm working right now on something much newer, and man, the components are so small. Even with the double magnifying glass I put on, it's very frustrating. Let's put it that way. When a component is 1 millimeter by 1.5 millimeter, and you try to solder that on the board, that is quite the frustrating challenge there for sure. As the older stuff, much bigger components, you can actually see them. Sometimes it's still hard to get, but at least you can work with it. Those things are so tiny. It doesn't take much to get sideways with them at all. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So I'm assuming you'll be doing your trimming right after the net there, John.
Yeah, I am, and it looks like the sun's out right now, Al, and I do have the doors shut in there. It's all insulated, and the foam's in around the window and that. Just the trim I got to do, and I'll probably put some more foam in there too. I leave a gap underneath the casing, before I put the surface trim on it, the stuff that lays flat with the wall. So what I do is I pump more foam in there to really get a good seal. And anyways, I think by the time I finish the net here, it's going to be pretty warm in there, and I won't even have to use any of my house heat to heat that room up. So kind of looking forward to get at that today. And I got a new table saw there I got off a friend of mine. Him and I did a swap. I swapped him a planer that I never used for the table saw. So my old one burned up. So I'm looking forward to getting on there and cutting that stuff up over.
Hey, sounds good there, John, for sure. Yes, you need a gap for the foam to get in there properly. When it's just a little tiny crack, it doesn't really seal all that good. But I totally understand what you're doing. So all is good there for sure, John. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for the time being. No big plan here for today. Just doing a little bit of doodling after the yesterday's frustration about different parts. Hopefully, when I put power up this unit, it'll pass the smoke test and it's going to work. I definitely hope. Anyway, I found a lot of things wrong with this thing, but anyway, so now it's coming to the next stage. I'm looking forward to it. At the same time, I'm a little apprehensive about it. So it is what it is. Anyway, John, you take care and have a great day. Unless you have anything else there, John.
No, nothing else. I can hardly wait to get back on the workbench again, the electronic workbench, rather than doing all this building I've been doing. So I'll be doing a lot of that this winter. And I know what you're talking about, small components. I've got a digital microscope here that I use for putting some of the stuff on, but that's still, I'll tell you what, it's pretty intense when you go put that stuff on. Anyway, 730, we'll talk to you later on VA3DU.
Okay, John, you too. Have a great day, and we'll talk down the road, no doubt about it. You stay safe and keep doing what you're doing. VA3DU, VE3PRU, and 73 there, John.
Yeah, 73 Alpha. This is Victor Alpha 3 Delta United. The name is John. QTH is near the northwest shore of Lake Nipissing. We're looking for check-in to the TPN net, phone, or CW.
The 3 Fox Echo X-ray.
Papa, portable.
VA3 Oscar Whiskey.
Okay, who was the portable station you got stomped on?
Yeah, it's Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie, Papa, portable.
Papa, Charlie, Papa. Okay, just stand by. I've got FEX, OW, and I believe there was one more in there. Okay, VE9, Mike Tango Bravo. Good morning, Rick. How are things out in New Brunswick?
Oh, not a bad day today for the update again, so that's okay. You're about 5 and 0 here, Bob. I'll be fine and talking to so like 20 not too bad. So I'll be there. Hope you have a great day.
Okay, very good, Rick. I hope you have a great day there, and thanks very much for the check-in. We'll say 7-3.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And VE3, Papa, Charlie, Papa, portable. Good morning. Whereabouts are you?
Yeah, very good morning. Well, we're at the Guelph Amory, operating for Noble Skywave, starting last night and today overnight until tomorrow. So I just wanted to take a break. We're switching over to do new operation at 10, so I just wanted to take a minute and give you a check in there. I'll back to you.
Okay, very good. You got a good strong signal here. You're pushing about 10 over this morning, so your setup seems to be really working for you. Over.
Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, it's just a 40-meter inverted V of about 25 feet, and Kenwood CA254 radio. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, it's working very well. I'm looking at an 850 here that I repaired about a year ago. I haven't got it hooked to anything, but I'm building a new sunroom, and I'm looking at putting that radio up there. So that one will be vacating my shack to my second shack. Over.
Yeah, very good. Well, you can't go wrong. 850s are a great radio. Even though they're not new, they certainly were well built, and they just keep on going.
Yeah, I really like them. I don't know, that was probably the third radio I ever owned, and I sold that one, and anyways, I had a chance to pick this one up. It wasn't working when I got it, but it is now, and I'm looking forward to operating it. Anyways, thanks very much for the check-in. We'll say 7-3, and good luck with your exercise there.
Yeah, very good. Thanks for being there, 7-3. VE3 PCP portable.
Yeah, 7-3. And Mark, VE3 FEX, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning there, John, or should I say...
Charlie Alpha 254 testing.